we've got, many different perspectives, the breath work, psychedelics, many ways to approach enlightenment, liberation. And one of those pathways is yoga.
Yeah.
And again, I'm assuming, I know you shouldn't assume, but I've not touched on this with anybody, and I'm hoping that maybe you could enlighten us, because my research suggests, that yoga and the practices that connect with Soma, which is this kind of elixir, potentially psychedelic, depending on who you're talking to. It's mushrooms or a concoction of various plants. So it's kind of like my segue into yoga by way of psychedelics. And is there anything that you could share with us that you're familiar with Soma? Because these ancient practices, what I want to steer away from is the idea that, not just the idea, the reality is that, Stanislav Grofs and others that have made it really privy to us in the here and now, but there's an ancient tradition, of using these medicines in these various practices. It's not a new thing, the research and the trials and all that are happening now and, in the last, few decades. But is there anything you could share with the ancient practices that, in relation to yoga and psychedelics?
Yeah, I pull out these books.
The books are just there, yeah, like just
yeah, this Green Gold and the Tree, Green Gold, the Tree of Life, Marijuana in Magic and Religion. This is an old book here. And then Liber 420, Cannabis, Magical Herbs, and the Occult. They're both by the same author named Chris Bennett. And basically what I can remember from and pull out at the moment is that there's different scriptures that he's highlighting in here from ancient times that promote the use of cannabis and other psychedelic herbs, and in their in the scripture, and how they're considered beneficial. Now we have Shiva, who is the yogi god, is known as the supreme in many traditions in yoga. Some traditions he's only known as the destroyer. The particular ones that I practice, I know Shiva as the one. I am Shiva, Shiva Hum. It's Shiva means auspicious, and auspicious is the opposite of suspicious. Suspicious is to look at things through the eyes of fear, like we were talking about before. Auspicious is to look through the eyes of everything supports me and it's all a blessing. Everything's aligned. Everything is working out. That's auspicious. So whatever you look at, you see. And so that's what Shiva means, auspicious. So to affirm that you are that and I am that is a high thing. So that's why I tune into Shiva. But anyhow, Shiva, in the stories of Shiva in ancient times, he's known to be intoxicated all the time. And some of his favorite intoxicants are cannabis, but also he uses datura, Jimson weed. What's some other names for it? Thorn's apple. And this flower and its seeds in different parts of its plant can produce many different psychedelic experiences. My one experience with it was a near-death experience, and I had to breathe for 24 hours straight while immersed in water in that same rhythm that I've been showing you in order to not die. And now that experience is long gone, I love it. I'm glad I did it, and I'm glad I made it through. But during the experience, it was a hell. So if you ever mess with that one, you got to use it properly. Somehow, I think a combination of dehydration, mixed with approaching the plant in the moment in a weird way, led to a deep inner journey. But yes, Shiva can use that and be fine. And then there's other yogis called aghoris. Aghoris are the ones who face anything that's considered taboo or feared and approach it with love and acceptance. So even if there's a dead body floating down the river Ganga, they can retrieve this body, sit on it for days and meditate, and use its skull for its bowl for all of its future meals after it cooks out the brain and eats it. And it sounds very nasty, but they would never go out and hurt anyone or kill. They're vegetarians besides a carcass that they might find abandoned somewhere. But besides these things, they make their chillums out of psychedelics. They will bake and make their whole pipe out of psychedelics and put all types of different plant medicines and psychedelic mixtures in it and go to the heights of intoxication in order to face those states with no fear, like Kalindi Yi.
Yeah, man. Nice, man. Yeah, well, yeah, you mentioned the name, so it's got you. But yeah, that's the teacher, the elder. You know, he's been a brother, key player in my life. You know, in the UK, I've had my hands filled in bringing various speakers over from the States. You know, Bobby Hemmett, Phil Valentine, and I'm sure you may be privy to those guys, Alim Bay, Black Dot. You know, these are my homies who I've built with over the years. And but Kalinde played a very big part in, in the latter years, from the inception, but to the latter years in particular, in supporting me on this journey that I'm currently on. And it allowed me to delve into understanding about these various groups like the Algories and others that, deal with these very much taboo subjects and areas. If anything, the most taboo subject and area being death, what we consider death. And I touched on this yesterday with Kambata, I've been initiated into the name Darren the Baron by way of Baron Samdi, the voodoo, I'm sure you're privy to, and I connect and resonate with that. And I always share with people, in my journey with psychedelics, I say I've got a human answer and a taboo answer for people. And they say, so what do you get from taking psychedelics? What's the benefits that you've gained? I say, ultimately it's allowed me to lighten my load, man. There's a lot of baggage that I used to carry around with me that didn't serve me well. And it's allowed me to just kind of explore that and deal with that and accept, things as they are, as well as shift the things that I need to shift, consciously. But really what I dig about psychedelics is, it's allowed me to dance to death, this tango, this experience that I've had with death. Some people refer to, utilizing psychedelics to have ego death, experiences. But when I go back to the indigenous cultures, they just called it death, dying before you die, preparing for the, the ultimate journey. So I know, like, I'm just looking at the time, and time just flying, time doesn't exist. And, when coming up to that 90-minute, point and stuff, but I definitely would love to just touch on, your perspective of death, the relationship through, psychedelics, and, what's your perspective of death, and, the relationship we as a human being, as we refer to ourselves, should have with death prior to having the experience itself.